What's going on, Scorpio? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal week so far. So for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Scorpio, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. So Scorpio, it's your general energy weekly spread. And for you, after just getting through that full moon lunar eclipse, just want to check in and make sure you're doing all right. But Scorpio, whenever you come across this video, there may be messages here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Scorpio. So Scorpio, with this spread, I'm going to be pulling a few oracle cards, and then we're going to get some tarot to get some details. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And then in case y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested, Scorpio. And look at you, hopping in your brand new convertible. You got the 7th card of Gemini's here, which is a convertible card. And this is a card of many options, free will, adjacent possibilities, choices, flexible, adaptable, potential, change, freedom, enjoyment, two-faced, going with the wind, alternatives, and preferences. And Scorpio, from the energy this is giving me, if we're in a place where, let's say first, if we're weighing out some options, let's say if we're trying to decide if we're thinking about maybe changing a career, for example, maybe we're considering some different companies, or maybe we're considering a different profession altogether, maybe tapping into some skills that you might want to explore. Or this could be maybe even just finding just some hobbies, maybe you've been wanting to take up more time for painting or music, or maybe fixing up convertibles, maybe working on some cars. I don't know your life, Scorpio, but hey, anything that can breathe in some kind of excitement, anything along those lines, I'm with it. And I say go for it, Scorpio. Definitely, play around with these options, see which ones resonate with you, and then explore that and see where it takes you. But I also feel like this is a time, especially, with just the energies that have been probably going on in your sign, with Mercury retrograding, you're probably, you being opposite Taurus, you're going to be feeling a lot of oppositions as far as your aspects. And then you got Jupiter getting ready to move into Taurus soon. But this is a time to say, we got to be a little adaptable, got to be got to roll with these punches right now, especially if we're thinking, or especially when we're thinking about as far as like growing in things, because when you focus on that growth and face these, whatever adversities come your way, kind of work them to your advantage, more options start opening up for you. You start seeing more than one possibility, but it is going to be, we have to make space for that type of stuff, Scorpio, and hopefully that's making sense, just when we're going through this growth. So that's just another thing, just during this time, especially, with that eclipse just happening in your sign, just going to want to be just a little adaptable, a little flexible, for the duration of this journey, but at least for like the next 6 months, Scorpio. But let's get some tarot on this and get some more details. All right, Scorpio, let's see what we have here. Oh, interesting. Okay, Scorpio. Oh, look at all these pentacles here. And this is what happens when we work with these energies, but we got to get out of our head first. But you got the 10 of discs, the Prince of discs, the Princess of discs, and then we have the 9 of swords. And let's talk about the 9 of swords first, because with the 9 of swords, this is a card of this can be a really intense card. This is like, kind of like getting really kind of caught in our head. It's one thing where you're just sort of like some things have been bothering you, but this is something where this is like, it's like invaded just your everyday. This is that thing that's constantly on your mind. It's just been stressing you out. And if we've been under some type of like stress right now, maybe with all these pentacles popping up, and really this makes sense, Scorpio, with just all the activity that's going on in Taurus right now, and especially, with Uranus being in Taurus, depending on where your sun sign falls, but, or, wherever you have Scorpio placements, you might be feeling like, that sense of security that's not there. Maybe there's been something that's been going on with health, or maybe something's been going on finances, or maybe just like you've been needing the resources to start up stuff here, but maybe any kind of weirdness, Scorpio. But this is where we got to be adaptable during this time. So if we're having trouble in some areas, it's like, let's see if we can find some alternative ways to do some things. Maybe start up maybe like a little side hustle, maybe even like hitting up another person, maybe partnering up with some people, maybe doing like some type of collaboration, Scorpio, if that makes sense. But the ten of discs, this is about thinking about that security. What do we need in order to assuage these swords, and you're going to want to be careful too, Scorpio, because if we get in a place of talking from lack thereof, just like, gosh, I don't have this thing, I don't have that thing, if only I had blah, blah, blah. If we get in that mindset, then that's just going to be the energies that we're attracting, is that just what we don't have. And the universe can be a little tricky about those things. We want to more so talk about what we do want. It's like, okay, getting in, for every negative sword you've been getting so far, what's ever been maybe threatening the security, let's match it with another sword. It's just like, I'm having trouble with finance. You say, but you know what? I'll find a way. Maybe I'll do some. Maybe find some. Just do some research, Scorpio. Maybe there's some kind of like little part-time things we can pick up, or anything along those lines. But I will say too, just in general, just with the energies being in Taurus right now, depending on when you're watching this is going to be, an important time, for you to be thinking about those, just those areas that we're not feeling secure, and getting a game plan. Because the Prince of Disc, he's my card of, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And there is, it may seem like with all this stuff that's going down, Scorpio, with all the changes and things, that there's not a lot of opportunities here. But the Princess of Disc, she's the type that, especially in times like this, you see this barren forest behind her, she's going to take anything that, be open, try some ideas, see what you can get cooking. You never know. Maybe like, for example, with that car thing, maybe you're working on the cars, and maybe you're posting on a blog or starting a YouTube or something on the side, doing some extra additional things, if that's one thing we're worried about. Or if we're worried about stuff with like health, for example, maybe we're thinking about doing more kind of holistic things on the side, adding some preventative maintenance, moving the body, whatever that looks like. But the Princess of Disc, that's what she's doing. She's finding out what resources she does have at her disposal, and that's what she's working with. That's how these two become, you work your way towards the Queen of Pentacles and get to that resourcefulness. We got to put in that work, we got to put in that research. But when we do, man, she's going to pour that energy through this scepter here, and she's going to turn this forest into an abundant forest. So we just definitely need to be flexible and adaptable in this time, and be careful about getting caught up in your head, and don't be kind to yourself, because this is a card of, they have cruelty labeled on here, and I almost feel, I feel like it's less about being cruel to others and more so about how we can beat up on ourselves. It's like, gosh, how can I not have planned for this? All the signs were there, just like, but it's fine. You're here, you're exactly where you needed to be at on this journey. These lessons and these things are not meant to keep you down. They're meant to raise you up, Scorpio, and get you closer to that highest vibration. So, bam, look at you. All right, Scorpio. Interesting start, but And you know, this kind of stuff too, it can cause, you know, anxieties and things, but you know, remember with that too, you know, where it's just something that you're experiencing right now, that those senses of anxiety, worry, fear, don't let those things define you. You know, let's change the narrative. And that doesn't necessarily take away from the situation at hand, but it just gets you in a better mindset so that you can deal with it. Because you know what happens, Scorpio. Have you, when you're operating from like a panic place, the energies usually gets exacerbated. But when we're kind of cool, calm, collected, kind of breathe through it, it's like, okay, how can I channel this? How can I, you know, what potential is here? It's beautiful, Scorpio. 10 of Pentacles all day. Alrighty, let's get another oracle on the mix here. Interesting. Okay, you got the second card of Sagittarius here, which is the dice card. And with the dice card, this is a card of gamble, taking a risk, luck, playing games. Chances are, roll with it, random results, win/lose, uncertain outcome, playing the game, potential, fate, what happens next. Now, Scorpio, I will say, where, you know, I'm not doubting your luck, but just when we are in places like this, if that's something that's been resonating with you, if we've not been feeling secure, sometimes, you know, where we might get in a desperate place, and we might make some knee-jerk reactions. We want to be mindful too. Your ruler, one of your rulers, Mars, is still in Cancer up through like the 19th of May. So we just want to be mindful of any sort of, like, you know, just reactive behaviors. You know, we can take risk, you know, with even with like Mercury being in retrograde right now, absolutely. But we just want to, just even thinking with this earth energy, just slow down a little bit, you know, with our still being in Taurus season for a little while. Slow down, really kind of calculate this stuff here, figure out what makes sense for you to play in right now, what maybe we might need to not even exclude, but maybe just need to wait for a little bit. You know, like we got to time this stuff here. You know, get your look at that, all this, there's potentials here. You know, I do feel that there's something, you know, if we go and do the proper research too, because just even thinking with these energies, Gemini and Sagittarius. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, Sagittarius by Jupiter, both very intelligent signs, both polar opposites of each other. But there's a lot to learn from this energy, because in order to get to that state of wisdom, that enlightenment, you have to put in that work. You know, you have to learn this stuff. But then on the flip side, it's not, you know, you can learn things all day, but then you have to put it into application. You know, so it's like we can learn from our opposites energies, and I've been mentioning that, and especially with how some of these planets are going to be aspecting some of your signs. You know, over here might be kind of a weird kind of force here the next, you know, maybe month, but those energies are going to subside and things are going to be easier. And there are some nicer, you know, there's some, you know, smoother energies to balance this out. You know, especially just even thinking about this, Scorpio, Venus is going to be moving into, Venus will be moving into Gemini, or not Gemini, into Venus, into Cancer on the 7th, I want to say, it's either like late on the 6th, around the 6th or the 7th of May. But I bring that up to say Venus is a planet of abundance. And where, sure, it's not happening in your sign, it's going to benefit you, a water sign. So this is one of those things I feel like, you know, play it smart. You know, use your judgment, but let's not be reckless with these, or, you know, operate from a panic place. And if you're not sure about something, Scorpio, maybe hit yourself up a Prince of Disc, you know, a Princess of Disc, someone who maybe has some knowledge in, you know, whether this be some kind of investment or whatever that looks like, Scorpio. But let's get a little more tarot on this. Scorpio. Let's see what we have here. Oh, okay. All right, Scorpio. So you have the Prince of Swords, the Two of Cups, the Seven of Wands, and we have the Devil. So let's talk about this Devil, because that's kind of what I was talking about. You just want to be mindful. You know, this is something where I get where, especially if we've been in a place, you know, whatever this looks like, you know, if we've been in a jam for a little while, been feeling like things have been kind of going against us, any sort of like promise of like instant relief or things along those lines, just to get out of this as fast as possible may seem appealing. And it's not to say that it can't be possible, Scorpio, but I'm just saying we got to make sure to do our research, because we don't want to get caught up in some kind of tricky situation here, or where we got to do something where we have to put in more work than we need to, you know what I mean? But this is something where, just thinking with this Two of Cups, really kind of just I really feel like there's an emphasis here of just like pausing and really just connecting within, especially after this eclipse that just happened. Your intuition should be through the roof. You know, this is a really great time to connect with yourself. Neptune being in Pisces too. You know, this is a great spiritual time for water signs. Think Saturn being in Pisces too, Scorpio. This is a great time to be thinking about how we, excuse me, how we can expand, how we can grow, what ways we can get to victory, you know. And we just want to be really careful, Scorpio, because I feel like even with the Seven of Wands, you know, because sometimes this energy, I get where we can feel, especially we've been feeling frustrated, anything along those lines. But underneath the Seven of Swords, you know, underneath this stick here, I'd like to talk about this card. If you remove that top wand under there, this is a Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is a card of victory, a card of valor, doing the things we love. But sometimes we got to get out of our way. We got to pull back, calm down, get balanced again. Think from a clear space. You know, figure out what options that we do have here. Because the Prince of Discs, this is Aquarius's card, and he's got a little bit of Capricorn in his chart. But once he does that research, you know, gets everything figured out, he's going to put in the work towards that thing. And this thing is going to, it might be a bit of a challenge, but it's going to be worth it in the long run. Capricorn energy, yeah, they're ruled by Saturn. I always talk about with them, you know, your energy's kind of a slow burn, but these restrictions and things, they're not happening to keep you down. They're happening because the universe knows you're abundant. I mean, you came out the box starting abundant there, Scorpio. We just got to find it. You know, we got to, you know, manipulate the energies a little bit. See how work with what we have at our disposal here. So, just something to think about. Alrighty, Scorpio. Let's get one more on the mix here. Interesting. Okay. So you got the fourth card of Taurus here, which is the Birdcage card. And this is a card of possessive, codependent, cling, restless, oblivious, controlled, sing away, want freedom, without consent, dominion, watched, hostage, confined, jealous, trapped, and predator. And this is an interesting card. I feel like, especially in this situation, Scorpio, if we're in a place where it feels like someone has some kind of hold on us, just thinking with this Devil card and how this, you know, because the Birdcage has some very low-key kind of like devil vibes, kind of, yeah, some sort of like very toxic situation. So if you feel like that someone is trying to maybe exercise their, I don't want to say, like almost like that they have some kind of power over you. Like you feel that if it weren't for this person that you would have no kind of security or anything along those lines. You know, we want to be mindful of that, because that's not someone I feel, and listen, Scorpio, listen, you know it's a judgment-free zone here, but that doesn't feel like someone who wants to, that's trying to mutually raise the vibration. And you know, sometimes, you know, we can try to make these things work, you know, try to push through the stuff here, but with the Seven of Wands as well, this can be criticisms from others. This doesn't just have to be you getting in the way of your energy. This is any sort of like things that are preventing this energy from from moving forward here, preventing us from taking action. This is Mars and Leo, and if something's preventing that confidence, got you feeling like a caged bird, then we need to get eyes on that and figure out what we can do to get out of this. With these night energies, let's figure out how we can get this thing moving. And also, Scorpio, if this is something that might be resonating with you, or maybe we know someone who might be in a situation like this. We want to make sure that we consider their safety, and just like kind of like, and as it makes sense, that can get into like a tricky realm. So just something to be mindful of. But this doesn't even just have to be with this like with a relationship. This can be even maybe this could be in like in our workplace, where we feel maybe we've been trying to rise up through the ranks, or maybe trying to get to a more senior position, for example, let's say at our work, but maybe we're feeling restricted, that there's no more growth or anything along those lines. Well, then let's maybe start putting our resume out there. Let's broaden the scope here. Let's see what happens. And Scorpion, I'm not telling you to quit your job if you like it, but if there's no potential for growth, and that's getting us to a place where we're frustrated and not feeling that, then maybe if we're feeling fine there, since you got that on autopilot, maybe we can do some time for doing some stuff for you. Maybe starting up those hobbies. Getting you things that allow you to sing away, allow you to express yourself, because that could be something too, Scorpio. If you've been keeping any sort of like any sort of desires, any sort of wants, dreams, anything. And I don't even mean just for starting up like a business. I just mean just hobbies in general. When I was talking about Saturn and Pisces, that's Saturn and Pisces all day. Saturn and Pisces wants us to live this stuff, to make any kind of like deep, dreams that are held down inside, bring that stuff to light, and, working on bringing it from the dome to the home. But let's get some tarot on this and get some more details on this bird. Scorpio. Ha! Look at that. I love it. All right, Scorpio. I dig it. So you got the Magus card, or the Magician, the Two of Swords, and then you have the Six of Discs here. And with this, let's start with the Magician. The Magician of the Magus card. He's a card of manifestation, a card of knowing that you have all the tools at your disposal. It's just asking, what can we do with said tools? It's one thing. You got two cards of potential here with your oracle cards, and that's what the Magician is working with. It's like, okay, you are a well of limitless potential. What do we want to manifest? What does that look like? What do we want to bring into this world here? And then when we start working towards this stuff here, really kind of expressing yourself, removing those restrictions that are keeping us locked down, or keeping us, caged in, or anything along those lines, then you get to your success there, Scorpio. Then everything starts lining into place. The energies start working well. We start feeling a sense of balance, of completion. But with this Two of Swords, we have to listen to our intuition too. And we have a decision that we need to make with this card. We have to go towards, this is the moon in Libra, and the Two of Swords is. And when we're making these decisions, we have to really listen to our hearts, listen to what our gut is saying, and listen to where what is leading us to balance, what is leading us to harmony, and then we start heading towards those goals, and then things start manifesting, opportunities start going, start appearing for you. That potential is starting to bear fruit. So just really something to think about, Scorpio. All right, I dig it, Scorpio. I dig it a lot, because, all right, last, what a strong little finisher here, because check you out. Abundance, you got the Three of Cups here, and then you got the Ace of Cups. And so let's switch back over here, Scorpio, because, I really feel like with these two cards popping up here, because the Three of Cups, this is Mercury in Cancer. And when I just thinking about that, and when just thinking about Cancerian energy, my sun sign's in Cancer, when there's something that's resonating with us, Cancer's really tuned into our emotions, and we use those as indicators to navigate this realm. We learn from like our past and things, but it's that resonance, that you understand that, Scorpio, when it comes to just being a water sign. There's something that if it feels right, you know. And I just feel like that if there's something that that's either been keeping you locked away, or something that you feel like that's been locked inside you, or that's just been anything that's been messing with our security, or anything along those lines, let's start doing some things to fill our cups, whether that's, self-care, if that's, making time for a hobby, or whatever that looks like, however we can alleviate this maybe this feeling of uncertainty, or anything along those lines, And I know where it can feel kind of tricky, especially when you're in areas like this, when it can seem like you're kind of sort of like you're walking on a tightrope in the dark. And yeah, that can feel like a lot. But it's taking those times and pausing, really, really listening in. It's just like, where is the universe trying to lead me? What is making sense? Being flexible, being adaptable. And when we listen to those signs, Scorpio, they're subtle, but they're there, and they get louder, the more that we work with them. So I hope that makes sense. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. So yeah, give this a thumbs up if that resonated with you. Kind of help get this circulating. You can share this if you know someone who's, and be mindful too, Scorpio. Just again, we don't want to get just thinking with the risk. We don't want to get in a place where we're taking a chance and get in some kind of weird situation. So, but also, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. And then, this could be something, good, something good to do while we're, maybe processing this energy. I've been on this meditation app for years. It's Insight Timer. And I created a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group to drop like positive affirmations, something to counter these swords with. And encouraging messages, even sharing experience, when you felt, when we were in kind of like a precarious place, weren't sure where we were, just kind of going with the wind, seeing where the crow flies, and then we found abundance. It was a tricky one, but we end up. Ace of Cups loves you, Scorpio, especially in this deck. This is It was a really old video, but like one of my first videos that you had a little experience with the Ace of Cups. But the Ace of Cups loves you, Scorpio. Know that fulfillment is coming. But what were we talking about? Oh, Insight Timer. But yeah, I'm on this group. Come join it. That's all. But as a group grows, I want to do like meditations and things. I'm working with the cards right now, figuring that out. So all that information is in the description box. And then lastly, if you have any Cancer in your placement, sun, moon, rising, wherever, come on over to my other channel, The Sheridan Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans. It's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get you surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. Nice. Because that's what's up, Scorpio. You got the Two of Wands here because we're getting our power back. We're getting gaining our dominion. And let me shuffle for your oracle cards here. But with that Two of Wands, this is Mars and Aries, and that's a strong placement. Mars is one of your rulers. And this really is a great time to really be thinking about what steps do we want to do next. Especially if we've been feeling this sense of lack of security in any aspect of life. What do we want to do to feel stronger, to feel that things are, just to feel more confident in our energies there, Scorpio. And then going out there and start taking steps towards that. Because you don't have to get this stuff figured out all right now, but it's just like, just getting the gears turning, just sitting down, maybe writing down a few things and maybe, close it as it makes sense. But let me see what your oracle card is. I dig it. You got the witch lungs here. And with this witch lungs, this sometimes, especially just thinking with that bird cage, if we've been kind of cooped up as of late, getting yourself outside, breathing some fresh air, getting out for walks, just out in nature, maybe by some water, whatever that looks like. But you'd be surprised, especially when you find yourselves in maybe like real kind of hectic situations, maybe real stressful times. Just going outside and just breathing in just some fresh air, some nature, just can help get the energies just flowing again. Just changing a new, just a new, I was gonna say new dominion, but you know what I mean. But yeah, just changing a new, even just a new environment, because that can even get us, maybe go on a road trip, Scorpio, hop in your convertible, go for a ride somewhere, maybe hop on the, if you're in the city, hop on the train, go somewhere you haven't been before, change up locations, and let's see if some new perspectives can come in. So, all right, I think I'm gonna leave that there, Scorpio. So you stay safe out there with all this stuff here. We can take risk, but calculated risk, Scorpio. Let's keep our wits about us and be mindful, okay? And watch out too for scammers and things. I've been getting like random texts for like, oh, what's the recent one? Because someone keeps telling me that Sophia, my stuff is ready at the Florida clinic. So just be mindful of stuff like that, Scorpio. And just raise that vibration through the roof. Ace of Cups, definitely, in all of this. I'm surprised I didn't actually harp on that more. Self-care. There you go. A little dose of self-care before you get out of here. A little shot of self-care. I'm with it, Ace of Cups. And I will get you on the next one later.